Hey y'all, welcome back to Pauly's Speed Shop. So since last time we talked, since last time we recorded, it's been about a week. I did go ahead and order some parts and they are going to be here any minute. They're on the post truck, so we should have them very shortly. What has happened between now and then basically is just cleaning. So I went at it with some all-purpose cleaner and some plastic brushes. I cleaned all the crud off of this, cleaned all the crud that was on the attachment. This is all clean now. This cutter, there was some surface rust on it. So I cleaned it up, I sharpened it on my sander, and just threw some black spray paint on there. So this is pretty much all ready to go back together. Once we get some parts, I went ahead and cleaned the whole head, inside of this. The only place I didn't really clean was over by the carburetor, because we're going to need to take this apart anyway once the parts show up. So we're waiting for that. I will bring you back as soon as the postman delivers our goods. All right, we have package. Let's see what we got here. Packing material. One box. Okay. Got Walbro repair kit. This is our carb kit. It's actually got a lot of stuff. It's got the little plugs and everything. That's pretty nice. Air filter, I want to say this was $2. I think the carb kit was $6. Plug, another $2. There's our brand new gearbox. This again, I think this is 24 and change. And I think, yep, that's it. And our starter is in here. Let's take care not to have this thing go springing, but that's a little different. Okay, so I realized when I was editing the previous video together that I really didn't do a very good job of explaining what this does. So now that we've taken it apart once, let me try and kind of break down how this works and why it's different than a normal pull start. So normally when you pull on this handle, you are turning the crankshaft of you're directly turning a pulley that's somehow attached to the crankshaft directly, and you are just turning the engine over. And it's got a spring, one spring inside that it recoils the starter for you. This is a little different because there are two springs inside. And when you pull, this inside piece is keyed to the crankshaft, and the outside piece is what you're putting work onto when you pull on the pull start. So you pull this internal spring tighter, and when you have made enough force to overcome the compression for the engine, I'm not going to do it because I don't want this to break, but this starts flipping over, and then it'll happen again. You tighten the spring, it'll flip over, and the intention of that is to make the engine easier to start, to make it easier to start, and to make the start one smooth pull. And in reality, I don't think it makes that much of a difference, especially with such a small engine. I think compression releases do just as good a job and are more reliable than these. And from looking into, we kind of looked last time, and I didn't really know what had gone wrong. I think the spring that went kablooey when we pulled this apart, it has a tab somewhere that it holds against, so that no matter what, when you pull this in and out, no matter how far you go, it's always got something to push against. And I think what probably happened is somebody yanked on this too hard, and it broke that tab off, and that's why it was making that terrible noise and not actually wanting to start the engine correctly. If you're interested, Jack Small Engines, which is another awesome YouTube channel that does small engine repair. You know, his job is small engine repair, so he goes over lots of stuff. He's got a great video that describes one of these and how not to break it when you pull start an engine with one of these style starters. So I will link that in the video description. It's worth a watch. It's kind of a cool, you know, he probably explains it better than I am. But anyway, that's what we got. We got our starter, we got our gearbox, we have our carb kit, we have our plug, and we have our air filter. Plug and air filter I'm going to save for when this thing is more back together, because I want to get this thing running before we replace the plug, before we bother really starting to dirty an air filter. So that these hopefully are returnable if this thing for some reason doesn't work out. But, you know, I may run some seafoam through this just to clean up any carbon, and that usually fouls the plug out anyway. So let's do that with the original free plug and then put the you know, super spendy $2 one in. Anywho, let's get all this stuff kind of cleared out and organized. And I think where we'll probably start is getting the trimmer all back together, which could be interesting because I don't entirely remember how it goes together. We'll get it. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get it. Hold on. Okay, we're more or less ready to go here. Got, I believe, everything we need to get this trimmer head back together. So it came with the 2 screws that connect it straight to the shaft and kind of pinch it. These aluminum holes on either side, these don't have threads. These holes are different sizes, so these are designed to slip through. And then basically these are, I've seen these before, these, and I doubt you'll be able to tell, but they are not perfectly round. They sort of have 3 lobes on them if you look down the threads. And those tri-lobe screws are basically meant for this exact application. They're meant to be used with aluminum castings, and they cut their own threads as you screw them in. It came with a new spacer, but it did not come with this guy. So this is our reverse thread sort of adapter for the end of this gearbox. That is left-hand thread, and it's going to take a little bit of getting used to get to actually tighten this instead of loosen it. But anyhow, we've got that. We've got the insides of our. This is the backing plate for our what do they call them? Tap advance heads, bump heads. That's our spool for our string. I'm going to be cheap and just reuse the spring that was the string that was in there because there was a lot of it. But without any further ado, let's start getting this thing together. Man, this just does not want to go in. Well, there's why. This doesn't even want to go into the casting. I wonder, is this the wrong size screw, or do we have to... No, it's the right size screw. So I didn't notice at first. Yeah, this is also one of those tri-star or tri-lobed screws. We're actually going to have to cut threads into this housing. That should be fun. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Oh yeah, caution headphone users. Sorry. Let's get this head on. You know what? I think I'm assembling this backwards. I think you're supposed to have this in the head. Okay, that was slightly maddening. But I think that's how it goes. I guess we'll see. Yeah, so you know those times where you get to the end of a project and you find a mysterious bolt? Yeah, this was one of those times. Oh boy, I think this is how this goes. I guess I'll go look at the video from last time and just double check. Okay, so I figured out what I was doing wrong here. This trimmer head is actually pretty tricky. It's you don't need to open it up to get the string in. It's kind of neat. So the system it has, basically you poke your string in each way until it stops. And then you turn. And it just sort of winds its own string in. That's really pretty cool. That's not what I was expecting, and clearly not what I was doing before. But that works surprisingly well. Okay, lesson learned. There are some tricky bump spools out there. Hey guys, it's next day editing Paul, back in Paulie's Speed Shop real quick. I didn't realize till I started putting this video together just how rambly and long-winded I was. Again, I'm doing everything I can to try and keep these down to 10 or 15 minutes, and I overshot by probably double that, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video right here. I am going to make another video. I'm going to release it at the exact same time that starts at the power head. So go ahead and grab that video right after this one. Take care, guys. Have a good time.